Good Sunday morning. Welcome to the Freedom Stein Laboratory. It is December the 7th as we roll along to Christmas. It's amazing how fast 2025 went by. I'd like to believe that it's just because I've gotten older, so it seems like time is sped up. But I really do feel like quantumly or whatever, time has sped up. This year is just, I can't even comprehend how quickly it has flown by. So many things have happened this year, and my eyes have been open to so much more, whether it's, these people that you've been following around for decades that are conspiracy realists that you start realizing that maybe they're sold out to the side that they used to speak out against, and controlled opposition, however you want to deem that. We're going to be talking about that on this episode. We got a lot to talk about on this episode. Definitely going to touch on the Candace versus TPUSA debate that was going to happen. It's not going to happen. Who knows what's going to happen? But what I can say is TPUSA has decided to burn it all down. And wow, talk about destroying a legacy. And then they're trying to blame Candace for destroying the legacy of Charlie Kirk. No, no, no. That was you guys. And I'm going to show some lies that have been coming out of there, coming out of Jack Poso, who's been putting some stuff out there that's lies. I mean, these are people who I used to like have respect for. And now I can't even stand to listen to them talk at this point because it's like they want to say that Candace is the evil person. But when your eyes are open, all of a sudden you can hear it when it's coming from other people. And I know that I rail against the right and the Republicans a lot on this podcast, it seems like, but it's because we already know the Dems are sold out to the devil. So it's like it kind of seems stupid to talk about what they're doing because clearly they do want to destroy the country and turn us into some kind of a socialist haven where the entire world can come here and do whatever the hell they want, just as long as they're making their millions. So, it's kind of hard to point the finger over there anymore because we already know what's going on there. But when you see it coming from our side and it's stuff that's like, what the hell are they doing? They're like literally killing us now or threatening to kill us. I don't know. That's kind of why I feel like time is speeding up because, the devil knows that his time is short. And so it seems like these evil minions and entities know that they've only got a little bit of time left. So they're like ramping everything up. That's what it feels like to me. Whether it's the AI coming into place. I mean, now you can't even look at pictures or read stories anywhere without going, is this for real? You just don't know anymore. I read a story the other night, and it was this beautiful story about this kid who'd gotten hit by this guy who was on a motorcycle. The kid had been tracing a ball out into the street, and the motorcycle driver got off the bike and he administered CPR, and then he visited the kid in the hospital and was reading to him while he was in a coma. And then he woke up and everybody just loved each other. And the dad who hated the bike rider now loves him and he's part of the family and everything's wonderful. And you're sitting there going, okay, my first question is how did the stranger get into the ICU to read to the kid that he actually hit? But you got all these people commenting about how wonderful this is. And I'm like, and you wore a mask during COVID, didn't you? And I bet you've had all your boosters. All right. So let's get into, first of all, like I said, I usually don't talk about the Dems and even the mainstream media because at this point, we all know I don't like to cuss on my show, but the bullshittery that is out there. So you'll have to excuse my cursing there. But CNN and Jake Tapper, it's like, wow, guys, really? So I'm going to go ahead and share what happened a couple days ago. You've probably heard about it, but it was just incredible.
Commerce and with malicious destruction
Let me rewind
by
this
means
back
of explosion.
really quick. Bring it back, Jake.
Capitol attack. Brian Cole Jr., a 30-year-old white man from the D.C. suburbs, is charged with transporting an explosive device in interstate commerce and with malicious destruction by means of explosion. CNN observed local and federal law enforcement outside his home.
Yeah, okay. So, I mean, I don't know. Did his name sound white? So you went with white? Can you imagine? Obviously, Jake Tapper can't see whatever they're projecting around him or behind him because he had to have watched this later and gone, I look insane. There literally is a picture of a black man sitting next to me on the screen, and I'm calling him a white man. You either have to think he's a moron or they think we're morons. Oh, yeah, that's not he's very light skinned, baby. He's passing. Is that how they would put it? I mean, he's a black guy. He's a full on black man. Come on. Anyway, this is apparently the J6 pipe bomber. And I don't believe anything around what happened with J6. Who knows? I could believe that Antifa was in on it. I could believe our own people planted some bombs. These were weird looking bombs. I don't know that they ever really would have gone off or what have you, but just the fact that the mainstream media comes out and is like, oh, well, you know. All right, let's go over and take a look at what's going on here with Blake Neff and what he had to say a couple days ago. I'm not going to play it for you because literally everybody and their brother has been playing the audio from this. And if you've been living under a rock, TPUSA, supposedly sanctioned by Erica Kirk, have come out and laid down the gauntlet for Candace. And they were like, you know, you've put all these lies and accusations and allegations out against us. So we're going to answer this once and for all. And it's key that they said once and for all, because this is it, guys. This is your once and for all. And then at the very end of this 7-minute, 8-minute diatribe that Blake did, that he completely was reading off of some screen that I'm assuming went through all of the lawyers and the PR firm. And let me just say, we already see the hiring practices of TPUSA when it comes to the security. You had one job. Keep the guy who's in charge of everything, head of it all, the moneymaker, keep him alive. If security can't do that, how are any of those people still employed or being used by TPUSA? They should all be fired for sure. And then I would sue the company. I don't know. But whoever hired the security company clearly hired the PR company too. Because, I mean, these people really know what they're doing, don't they? Don't provide actual security. Don't provide actual first aid when the person you're supposed to be keeping alive, the ultimate thing happens to him. And then let's have a PR firm that's going to continue to burn it down afterward. So that's what we've got going on here. But at the tail end of what Blake was saying, they threw out this little dangly thing going, we're going to do this live stream. We haven't decided when, sometime in the future. And Candace is invited to join. They didn't really make any specifics about you absolutely positively have to be sitting in a chair in our studio or we're not going to do it with you, which seems like a silly rule anyway. So here we have Blake with his, this is on December 4th, so 3 days ago. The live stream we announced on the show Wednesday has been set at 4 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. local time on Monday, December 15th. A collection of Charlie's friends will respond to statements made by Real Candace Owens, which I'm assuming means that they're going to actually play the video of her talking. I don't want to see you saying, this is what Candace said, and then you make up whatever your interpretation of what she said is. Play the actual video of the words coming out of her mouth to set the record straight once and for all prior to the opening of AmeriFest. We'll be live streaming from Charlie's Phoenix studio. Our offer from yesterday holds. If Candace wishes to join us in person in Phoenix, she's welcome to do so. She can let us know by the end of today, which I'm sure you've seen everybody commenting on this. First of all, it drops at midnight when everybody's sleeping. Who the hell drops an official statement like this? When did you make that decision? Were you guys having a meeting until like 11:45 p.m.? And then Blake finally got out to type out this little X comment here and it hit midnight. I mean, it's insane. And then they're like, and you have until the end of today. So since they did it at midnight, it's basically like they're saying until midnight, tonight, to let us know if you're going to show up. First of all, you've set it for December 15th. So we got plenty of time here. Why do you have to know like right in that amount of time? So we all know that this was just something farcical. You don't drop it at night. And they knew that Candace more than likely is not going to show up in person. Not only is it December, I don't know how crazy your guys' life is in December, but mine's pretty crazy. And I don't have 4 children. I also, not only do you have that going on, but I'm also not like one of the top 10 podcasts in the world that I'm trying to run and all these other things going on. And then I'm going to expect you to be able to drop everything and come here. But Candace said I could do any time, any day, live stream. And she was like, okay, I didn't know about this. It's weird for you not to actually contact me personally, but I was informed that this was on X. So yes, I can't show up in person that day, but send me a link and I'm there. So she never once said, I'm not going to do that day. I'm not going to at this point. Later on, she's going to be like, it's absolutely impossible to. And this is also her husband's birthday, December 15th, by the way. But then they came out and tried to make it sound like she's not going to be there. And the way they did it, I mean, this is why I said whatever PR team they hired is just insane. So then Blake later on, because Candace is like, kind of weird how you didn't email or call me to ask about times or availability and chose to instead tweet this confirmation out at midnight. Why am I learning about this on X? December 15th does not work in person, and 2 p.m. Pacific time is also literal. And she meant to say literally the time I do my podcast live every day, which you knew, but we will happily cancel the daily podcast and we'll join you guys virtually instead for the live stream on the 15th if that works on your end. Let's lock it in. That is Candace saying, yes, I can't be in person, but totally that I'll do it. You just, let's lock this in, give me a date. So then Blake's response to that is, yesterday we made it clear that we would be scheduling a formal response to the allegations and accusations you've made. We've decided that response will be delivered during a live stream on December 15th. Thank you for your response, letting us know you will not be joining the in-person conversation. We will be proceeding without you. Now, this is why I said the PR team is burning it all down, because you're insane. You guys are absolutely insane. What you have now done is made it so that Candace can fully take your live stream, break it down, and respond to it. And this is your once and for all, Blake, once and for all. So then she's going to break it down and respond, and you will have no opportunity to respond to her unless, of course, this isn't going to be your once and for all. You will not be able to respond to her live and in the moment if you do this. And if you think people are just going to listen to your stuff and go, oh, I'm not going to go over and listen to what Candace is doing, you're nuts. That's why I said you're absolutely insane. Did your PR team tell you to do it this way? Not only do you sound like a total ass, but I can't even believe how stupid a move this is. And that doesn't even bring into account how people are now really looking at how shady you guys are over there. Because they're going, why are you doing this like at midnight? And then when she's like, I can be there, I can do this, but I can't do it in person. And then you're like, well, she's not joining us in person. So we'll be, going on without you because, in 2025, we can't possibly have you live streaming and almost like you're actually here. Well, literally that day they were live streaming Andrew Colvin in, and I guess they usually do because Andrew lives in California. I don't know that much about him other than he's your typical spokesperson and mealy mouthed. But I'm like, you guys just totally played into Candace's hands here because now she's like, okay, now I don't have to just, take the bullets. I can just throw the bullets as much as I want. Maybe I shouldn't be using that in this case. That probably was in poor taste, but that's why I said I don't know who hired these people. I do know that this Blake Neff is full of crap. Not only do I just can't stand the way that he talks and he has this condescending way of talking, but the lies that he's told. Baron Coleman, I was watching his most recent, I think it was from yesterday or a couple days ago. And the thing that he was pointing out about the lies that Blake Neff has made about Mikey McCoy and him like being next to Mikey McCoy and hearing him, talking to Erica and stuff. And we all know. I know you guys tried to convince us about all these things when it came to like COVID and, don't believe your lying eyes kind of thing. But we all have seen the video of Mikey McCoy not only booking it, not even ducking. Most people would like duck if bullets are flying, but he just walks away and keeps walking, doesn't look back at Charlie at all. And there's nobody near him. So Blake is nowhere near him. He didn't see any quivering lip. He didn't hear any conversation with Erica or Mikey McCoy's dad. None of that happened, but he's trying to tell us that. But Baron Coleman had gone back and gotten an interview that sorry, not Jake, Jack Posobiec had with Blake Neff the day after Charlie Kirk was assassinated. And Blake was telling his story there, and nowhere in that did he talk about being anywhere near Mikey McCoy, seeing Mikey McCoy with a quivering lip, any of that kind of stuff. He was talking about other things. And then when he tells the story officially on the Charlie Kirk show, which we're all still wondering why they're calling it that, then all of a sudden he's got this story about Mikey McCoy. And it's this very detailed thing. Like, I don't know how many of you have been in a situation where it's like bam, 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 and you don't even really have time to think. You don't sit there and all of a sudden you're like, well, I heard this one shot, and then I was like, I think there's other bullets that might be flying. So I'll get down, and then I've got to get out of here. Should I get in the vehicle that we came in? I mean, you just react. And I don't even know that you would quite remember, even though Blake said everything was crystallized in his mind and very firm, and his story has changed. It might sear things in there, but I don't know. I think you would forget some of the stuff that happened because it's just so much stuff all at once. But we know he's been lying about that. And then they're putting him out as, I mean, where's Andrew Colvett? I thought he was supposed to be the spokesperson. They're putting him out for all of this BS. So, you know, Candace is going to be able to eviscerate them, because the other thing that they've been putting out, not only when Blake was doing this whole discussion, did he completely, I don't want to say necessarily lied, but made up very weird interpretations of what Candace has had to say about things. So it's like, dude, everybody knows that you are full of crap. And clearly haven't been watching everything that Candace has been doing. I think that's what's been driving me crazy about people when it comes to Candace. I don't think everything that she's hit on is necessarily accurate or whatever. I don't know that it all is going to pertain to something. You know, the maroon shirts. I don't know. Maybe maroon just was popular for some reason. They say it's not a color that a lot of guys wear, but maybe, I don't know. It's not like you had like, to me, what would be more unusual is not a bunch of guys that look like they're there alone in different parts of the crowd. I would be more concerned if we saw like a cluster of 10 standing together, all wearing maroon shirts. Now, obviously, if they are some kind of a airborne force or military force, they don't want to be quite so obvious. But I don't know. I'm thinking the maroon shirts thing isn't going anywhere. So, yes, I'm not completely sold out to everything Candace is doing. But a lot of stuff that she's been saying does hold some validity, and she has presented receipts, even though they keep saying she has no receipts. And part of the reason why we don't have concrete receipts is because we know the FBI is hiding stuff. Did you see Cash Patel on with Megyn Kelly? There's another guy. Every time he opens his mouth now, I'm just like, I can't believe I actually really had respect and liked this guy at any point, because now I just have no respect for him or Dan Bongino, anything over there. And that's what started to crater the support for Trump too. It's just like, why is everything falling apart around us? It just sucks, because when Trump got in again, there was so much hope, so much joy. It's like, we are back. And it has been a hard pill to swallow to realize we are not back. All right. The other thing that I wanted to point out about this TPUSA, Tyler Boyer. Now, this is the guy who is kind of in charge of everything. I want to share some pictures here and something that he had over on his X. So here's the first thing I want to pop up with something that he had shared with everybody here. So the commentary that's here. Oh, actually, no, wait. Before I jump into that, I wanted to point this out because I was reading all the comments that were under Blake Neff going back and forth with Candace. And this guy had asked, this Johnny Rockets, he said, Grok, read the comments and give a percentage of people that are pro TPUSA and percentage that are not buying Blake's bullshit. And Grok came back and said, based on 30 top replies to the post, about 7% report TPUSA's position, while 93% express doubt or criticism of Blake's response. 93%, folks. All right, so here is the Tyler Boyer post here. Every single day, we are reminded of the loss of Charlie. No one feels it more than the Turning Point and Charlie Kirk Show family. And, obviously, we're all sitting here going, you guys can put out whatever BS you want to. And this was literally from 7 hours ago because I just grabbed this. So you're looking at these pictures and you're like, okay, Charlie's in the first one. I wanted you to see them more closely because this just really shows the bull coming from them. So this is the first picture. And as you can see, you've got Charlie standing there in the middle. I'm not sure what this is at. Clearly, they're dressed up kind of fancy for whatever it is. And it looks like they're probably somewhere at the White House with all the gold curtains because, Trump and his gold. I hate gold. So I'm like, why does he love gold so much? So I'm thinking that's where they're at. And then they must have had something, I don't know if it was from last night or what have you, but they decided, they're not standing right next to each other here because obviously they wanted to leave a little space because that's maybe where Charlie would have been. Except for look at this, folks. Charlie is actually here in a picture. These boneheads, these, again, I don't know. Did the PR team tell you where to stand? How about you put the picture there? Or how about you guys go on either side of this picture of Charlie Kirk and then he's in the picture? Folks, this is emblematic of what TPUSA thinks of Charlie Kirk. You couldn't sum it up any better than that picture. We have put Charlie Kirk behind us and we are going forward and not looking back. I I don't know. I'm just a common sense kind of person. So my common sense would be like, hey, we got a picture of Charlie here. Obviously, we have the picture here because we want to represent him in some way, but let's stand in front of it for our picture. But to be even more obvious about what we're doing, we're going to leave a space for where Charlie would have been standing. And maybe nobody will notice that, we could have put a picture there so that it would be, we're obviously, we really miss Charlie. We wish he was here. Oh God, you can't even help these people. Okay. Let me put on my old lady glasses here. So my question is, a lot of people are like, Charlie surrounded himself with these great people. They were even trying to put out this BS about Blake Neff that, who was it? Frank Turek? I think Frank Turek had said the night before Charlie died, because Charlie said all these things the night before he died, apparently. Blake Neff is the smartest person I know. You really should listen to Blake. He's the smartest person I know. And I'm going, that guy can't think of way out of a paper bag, apparently, which makes me question if Charlie was hiring all of these people, who did he surround himself with? And Blake Neff, I mean, he'd gotten fired from the Tucker Carlson show. Now, I don't think Tucker fired him. I think Fox News fired him. But I would like to talk to Tucker about that. I think Candace even mentioned that she was going to talk to him about that. Okay, now let's get into talking about another versus Ian Carroll versus Nick Fuentes. Did anyone see this one coming? Yeah, I sure didn't. Now, here's the interesting thing. Tucker Carlson has Nick Fuentes on his show, and the world blows up. The media goes nuts. The right goes nuts. The left goes nuts. Everybody's going nuts. Like, how in the world can Tucker Carlson platform Nick Fuentes? And even I was like, I don't know that it was a great idea. It's Tucker's show. He can do whatever he wants, but I wouldn't have him on my show. But again, my main point here is everybody was going nuts when Nick Fuentes was on with Tucker Carlson. But now that Nick Fuentes seems to be making the podcast circuit for all of the conservative podcasts out there, nobody's saying anything anymore. Now it's perfectly fine. You can have Nick Fuentes on and we don't care. Like Steven Crowder, you can have him on. And then why is Nick Fuentes going on Steven Crowder? They're not on the same team from what I can tell, but maybe they are now. Which brings me back to, a lot of people have said that Alex Jones was controlled opposition. And it's like, if Alex Jones is controlled opposition, why wouldn't we think that about something like Nick Fuentes? Is it possible that Nick Fuentes could be controlled opposition? And that is what a lot of people are starting to say now, is that Nick Fuentes is this controlled opposition. So what I want to do is go here. I posted this over on my X. and share what Ian Carroll had to say about this because he was, kind of upset about the fact that you've got Nick Fuentes going on with Steven Crowder here. And I have to say, I agree with what he was saying here.
Hey, bro. And we are now well into the moment with Israel, with TPUSA, with Candace, with the Trump government, with everything. And what's going on, man? Where are you at, Nick? Like, yeah, Nick is still doing his thing. He's still running his show. He's still being critical of Israel. But he's also doing the podcast circuit, basically running everything he can against Candace and against actual, like, factual information. I could understand if Nick was skeptical of Candace's sources, but Nick is straight up, like, not here, not there for the conversation about Israel in the way I think a lot of us expect and the way I think a lot of us were ready for. It's like arriving on the battlefield and your general is off hanging out with Steven Crowder. Like, you're supposed to be our guy, bro. This is your moment. This is your moment on so many levels, dude. Where are you? You're on Steven Crowder disavowing the people that are actually out here taking on Israel, taking on the deep state, taking on the whole thing. And you're over here with Crowder. With Crowder. And we're going to get into all of these different elements throughout this show. And like, the world is not about picking sides. But sometimes when you look at the sides of an issue, it tells you a lot about the issue. And it tells you a lot about how. If you are thinking about a thing in a way that makes you arrive at the same conclusion as Tim Pool and as Steven Crowder and as Rabbi Shmuley and as all these other people. And to be clear, I'm not saying that Nick is the same as Rabbi Shmuley. And I'm just saying, how are you winding up at the conclusion of these guys? With all that you know, with all that you've called out, with your deep understanding of how Jewish donors control things, with your deep understanding of the history of Mossad and of the CIA. You don't even think there's a possibility? Not even a chance. And this is supposed to be your moment. This is supposed to be your rise. You're on the generational run, bro. And you have generationally run right to Steven Crowder's show to hang out with the Fed slop narrative for like kind of a facetious take on it.
I mean, I've got to agree with them. Most of the people commenting on there is, who got after who got to Nick Fuentes? Somebody got to him. I don't know if it was offer of money, threats, controlled opposition. Another person had said, well, maybe he's effing with the Matrix. Yeah, I would like to believe that. I don't know. Supposedly he's America first. People are saying now he's Nick first. And now that he's riding high on popularity and people are bringing him back into the fold, he's going with it. I love that Ian mentioned Tim Pool, who continues to drive me nuts. This is a guy who I thought was middle of the road, kind of in the same place I was, done with either party, more of a libertarian bend. We're, against all of this bull that's going on out here. And then I've just watched him slowly. I was like glad he got on the Trump train and interviewed him and was supporting voting for him and everything. But the way he's been going now, and then this versus Candace stuff that he's had as well, all I can say is clearly Tim Pool is jealous. Because he says that he listens to Candace's podcast, but clearly he hasn't been listening because grab some things that she said and refute it. I mean, you discuss it on your show all the time now. It's like every single show we have our Candace Owens hate segment. Play her and refute it. I just don't understand why all of these people are like, oh, they got the guy. It was Tyler Robinson. We can all go sit down. Why is everybody sitting down? I mean, if for nothing else, we know there's no way this guy did it all by himself. And you're all just like, well, we're going to sit down and we're not going to look at anything else. He's the dude. I just don't understand why you wave the white flag and you're like, okay, we're done. And if anybody questions anything else, they're horrible. And Tim Pool's main theme has been Candace is destroying the conservative movement. She's ripping us apart, and she's going to make it so that we lose when it comes to the midterms. And I've already told you guys a long time ago, we're going to lose the midterms, and it has nothing to do with Candace. I'm sorry, she doesn't have that much power. I already was drifting away long before Charlie Kirk was ever assassinated. This is just like the final nail in the coffin for me. Because we also, as much as everybody wants to champion President Trump, where is he on this? Even like, what was it, 2 days after? It was either the day after or 2 days after. I want to believe that he couldn't hear what the reporter was asking him about, how are you doing, with the Charlie Kirk thing. And he's like, everything's fine. And look at the new ballroom we're building over here. And I was like, please tell me that he has no idea what that reporter just asked him. Because if he just blew over the fact that Charlie Kirk was assassinated, probably the person most responsible for getting him back into office, and he's busy talking about a ballroom he's building. I mean, please tell me that you're deaf, like literally, and not tone deaf. But Tim Pool, I mean, it's just like, I'm going to blame everything on Candace because she's the one causing the division. And I'm like, no, what is causing the division is you guys. Because what Candace is doing is just asking questions and looking at, we know. I mean, I'm not dumb. I know what I saw that day and the videos that I've been watching and all of the strangeness around it. So many questions about why he was a sitting duck. Charlie Kirk was a sitting duck where they had him. And there wasn't anybody on the security team that went, oh, this doesn't feel safe. But then after the fact, I even think Blake had said this. Well, when I looked around the amphitheater, I was looking at all the buildings and I was like, oh, I don't know. I think Frank Turek had said when they were flying the drone over, he's like, wow, that looks kind of dangerous out there, Charlie. I mean, all these people are noticing this, but the security team isn't, and whoever set this up. And then there was this insistence that he needed to be in that amphitheater area by the school. And you're not asking questions? I don't understand that. I don't understand how you don't ask questions. And especially when they come out and they tell you just ridiculous things that you could never believe in a million years, that a human being could take a 30-06 into the neck and just have this hole right there with a little gusher of blood coming out of it. Come on. Nobody believes that. I am not a hunter. I have never shot a big gun like that. I have shot an M16, but I'm like, I know that that's not possible. And then your explanation for that is, well, he just, has a really strong neck. So he was like Superman the bullet, it kind of bounced around inside. It like came in and all of a sudden it just decided to go down because gravity. I don't know. And that's why, it didn't just blow the crap out of his neck. Nobody's believing this. And even when people have asked, how did he get the gun up on the roof? And they're like, well, it was disassembled. He had the barrel up his leg and then he put it together up there and he left the screwdriver behind. And then he took the full rifle back off the roof with him. And I mean, when he does go off the roof, maybe that bag he was throwing had the gun. It's hard to see. But irregardless, I can't get to the first part because these people who were telling us all of these things also showed us video with supposedly Tyler Robinson walking through a neighborhood with a stiff leg telling us he had a barrel in that pant leg. But here's the videos at the actual location. And here's Tyler Robinson going up the stairs. And I'm looking at him going, his legs are bending. How does he have a barrel in his pants down a leg and he's not walking with a stiff leg? He could have never climbed the stairs with a gun barrel down his pant leg. I mean, come on. This is why they think we're stupid. And then when Candace asks a question about that, you horrible person, you're dividing the right. How dare you ask questions? You didn't love Charlie. Now, I know for sure that they were not the best of friends and talking to each other every day this past year. There was probably some drifting going on. A lot of people tried to get away from Candace because they're like, the Bridget Macron thing and her being a dude is a little too much, even though I'm totally on board for it with the way that she laid everything out. And frankly, it explains why Brigitte, I'm sorry, maybe I should be calling her Brigitte Macron, she is weird looking. I'm sorry. And telling me that she's a dude trying to pretend to be a woman explains that weird look. Otherwise, I'm like, why does she look like that? I mean, and Emmanuel Macron, he's not a bad looking dude. I'm sorry, that's what that's what you could get. That's what you're interested in. Honey, you could have, you are, in charge of France here. You could have anybody you want. You've got money, power. You could have any girl you want. And that, come on. It's the only thing that explains it for me. And I don't know, maybe it's a humiliation ritual for Emmanuel Macron to have to go around with her. All right, I have one more thing. We got to go after Jack Posobiec and how ridiculous this is. Let me get in here and find out where I've got this as well. I think I have it. I believe I posted this over on my X as well. Yes. Okay, so Diligent Denizen has shown this. And Jack Posobiec exposed lying about the Charlie Kirk assassination suspect. He posted edited photos of Austin Robinson, claiming they were Tyler Robinson, and was outed for it. A TPUSA affiliate is out here blatantly lying about the details of the case before the trial. And here you have Jack is posting this, and this is what he posted. So you've got a blurred out face. You can't even see who it is. And then it's got the name, marked out here. So he's just assuming, yep, this is Tyler, and I'm going to post it like this is Tyler, and I'm responding to somebody with this, and this is my proof. And somebody said, "How can you tell this is actually the Tyler kid when they blurred out his face? You really pushing this as fact?" And he was like, "It was on his mother's Facebook." And then, of course, we come to find out that no, this is actually Austin Robinson, who was got all the guns and everything like that. You would think that Jack, would make sure that he had really good information, especially when it comes to this stuff. And here's the thing, folks. Even if you show me a million pictures of Tyler Robinson firing guns, I remain unconvinced that he is some wonderful sniper shot that got off the perfect kill shot and then managed to get himself caught. I mean, I don't know. If you can shoot like that and pull that kind of thing off, how in the world do you get caught too? And it's just, I don't know. You just can't put this stuff together because he didn't live here. He didn't go to this school. He hadn't mapped this out. There was not a long-term notice of where this was going to be taking place. He would have no idea where exactly are they going to put the tent? Where exactly is Charlie going to be? What would be the best view from there? It's just everything was perfectly lined up for this to happen. And that doesn't just come from some guy who's living with his parents or living with his furry boyfriend or who knows? We don't even know what really was going on with that guy. I'm never going to buy it. Do you buy any of this? If you do, I would really like whatever you're taking because I'm not buying it. One thing I am really looking forward to is this Candace versus TPUSA. It is going to be golden. And I just can't believe that TPUSA, as much as they want to blame Candace for burning down his legacy, it's actually TPUSA that's burning it down. And I really hope it's not with Erica Kirk at the helm saying, yeah, let's do this. Let's go after Candace. I'm all on board for this because right now I'm still on your side, Erica. I'm still pushing back against all these people that are asking all these questions about you and saying that you look awfully shady and wearing your black leather pants and hugging JD Vance a little too long and not crying the right way, not grieving the right way. I've been fighting on this side and saying, I know on a personal level, some people that I highly respect in my spiritual walk had you on an Israel tour with them. And so I know behind the scenes stuff and you seem legit. And I know that Charlie was getting on board the Nephilim, the truth about the weird stuff in the Bible, which is my heart. And so I'm like, he's on the right track. And you were following around Michael Heiser. So I know you were following the right stuff and you were listening to the right stuff. So that's why I keep my belief in you. But with the stuff that's happening recently, it just makes me go, I don't know. Did they get to her some way? I don't know where you fell off there. But if you're going to go down with this ship, I have to start wondering if some of these other people that have been pointing at you and blaming you for stuff and saying you were in on something might have something here. And I'll tell you one thing, Candace is not one of those people. As much as they keep saying she's pointing the finger at Erica, she's never done that. I've actually come out and said, I think that Erica's some of the inside information she's getting, which is why I think Candace continues to defend Erica and why on her show on Friday, she was saying, they're saying that Erica called for this, but I don't know if I believe that. And I think that's why she's there because I'm like, is she getting info from Erica or does she think she's getting info from Erica? And so she's still standing by Erica going, no, I don't think Erica called for this because she's okay with me poking holes in the official story. We'll see. You guys have a happy Sunday. Thanks so much for joining me. If you're liking what you're seeing here, please like, subscribe. I need some subscribers and stuff. It would be fabulous. I would love to get up to like 100 by the end of December. So if you're liking it, share it, and I would really appreciate it.